This isn't going to be a normal podcast episode. I'm just kind of updating the few people who listen to this on what's been going on, why there haven't been any episodes lately, and what to expect in the future. First of all, the podcast is not dead. Scrollin does still exist, and it's gonna continue to exist. I'm gonna continue to make episodes. Uh, Here lately, I've been my attention has been spread around some different things. This is a hobby. This isn't anything that I make money with, and so I just whatever free time I have, that's the time that I spend on it. And at the same time, I have other interests and other things that I like to spend time on as well. And so finding that balance has been a challenge, but I have some ideas on how to kind of remedy the situation there. So a lot of what I've been spending my time on is making YouTube content, like build videos and things like that. And like making a podcast, it's a pretty time-consuming process. At least the way that I'm doing it, I'm putting a fair amount of time into it, and so it's difficult to work on both in tandem. I really just have to work on one, and then I get that finished. Like I get that podcast episode finished, and then I can work on a video, and then when that's finished maybe I can work on the podcast again or another video. Um, and I've just kind of been going where the wind takes me lately, just whatever my impulse tells me, like I feel like making a video, then that's just kind of what I do. Just kind of whatever I feel like in the moment. And lately that has been the case. It's been mostly making videos has been what I've been wanting to do. Um, but I still love the podcast. So this was my sort of entry point into content creation, and I just love podcasts in general. And I have a good time making it and engaging with the people who listen to it. So I am going to keep it up, and I have some ideas on how to be more consistent about it. The sort of loose pattern that I've fallen into with the podcasts is I'll make an episode roughly around the time of PTS week one, and then I'll do another episode when that patch goes live. And I usually do it like a week after each of those things. Like PTS week one, I'll do a podcast at the end of that week, and then I'll do another podcast at the end of the live week one of the live patch. And the reason is I just like to give the community and people time to try stuff out and see how they feel about it, kind of come to a consensus about things. Because I don't like to just talk only about the changes themselves. I like to talk about how people feel about those changes, what the impact has been, that kind of stuff. So that's kind of been the loose pattern I've fallen into. I haven't been very consistent with that. But my idea is basically to embrace that pattern and be consistent with it. And even that's not a lot. It's going to amount to about 2 episodes per quarter, so like one every 6 weeks or so. Um, so it's not a super high frequency, but the goal here is consistency. Um, but I also have some ideas on how to fill up those gaps of time in between episodes as well. And it's going to be a bit of an experiment, and I'm going to need some feedback from people, uh, just so I know how it plays, and if it works well, if it's something that people like. So the idea to fill up those gaps of time is basically has to do with the build videos that I've been making. The kind of the format that I've kind of come up with for those videos. As I listen back to them, I realize that they are largely very audio friendly, and I haven't consciously been trying to make that the case. It just kind of happens to turn out that way. Now there are lots of times in the videos where I am referencing something on screen and stuff, but that's because I haven't been thinking about it. It's not something that I've been thinking about. But if I do try to consciously make these build videos so that the audio portion can stand on its own without the video, I would still make the video and have all the demonstrations and illustrations and all that, like I've been doing. But I can just be more mindful and careful about how I'm wording things so that if someone isn't watching the video, everything still makes perfect sense. And so then those could also be podcast episodes. And lately I've been doing about a video per week. I'm sure that'll slow down at some point, but I think at the very least I'll continue to do like one per month or a couple per month. Um, so and then I'll continue to do the normal podcast episodes like always, and those will just kind of be squeezed in between. And so then both of those I could put both things on YouTube. The podcast episode could be on YouTube just like the build videos and just have some just random footage playing for people to watch while it's playing. And the build videos would go on the podcast, except they wouldn't be videos. So it's a way for me to simplify my workflow so that it's easier to create the content. I'm basically just using one process for everything, and I think it's going to help me be consistent and stay consistent and not drive myself crazy trying to figure out how to divide my free time up and all that. So I don't know. That's the idea. I think this next build video, I'm working on putting together a Dragon Knight, a Magic Dragon Knight build right now that I think is gonna be really cool. I'm gonna be working on a video for that over the next couple of weeks, and I'm gonna try it. I'm gonna try to put the audio portion of the video out as a podcast and just see how that plays and see how people like it. Um, so I'd like some feedback. If you end up watching it on YouTube, leave a comment. If you end up listening to the audio only portion, email me at ketsparrowhawk@gmail.com. If you're listening to this right now, you can go ahead and let me know how you feel about the idea of it. Um, it's going to be an experiment. And I'm kind of excited about it. I think it's going to be fun. Like I said, I love making the videos and I love making the podcast. And I love Elder Scrolls Online. Making this content and talking to other people about the conversations that it sparks is super fun and awesome, and I want to keep it up. So anyway, I think that's it. This is just kind of a short state of things. So yeah, I'm gonna get out of here, and I'll see you around.